Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about 4 topics got here on my notepad about the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins used to be known as the Big Bad Bruins, and that sort of over the years as the game evolved, became faster, more of a skill sport, sort of disappeared because the league is starting to try to get away with fighting and, cheap shots, whatever, that makes the game have its bad name. Talking about the Big Bad Bruins, like I said, that's old, sort of starting to come back, at least in my opinion. Gotta think about it, big hits. I mean, since, we're 5 games into the season, there's been big hit after big hit. You got Wagner, you got Corrali, Backus, and then you take scraps and pushes. Something's sort of lacking the last few years, but this year, right away, within the first 5 games, Tuukka Rask, if you remember, he dove out, he made a save off of, I think it was in the Ottawa game, to try to stop a breakaway attempt. More went after him. There's not too much room that could have, it's not like the Ottawa guy could have avoided Rask all in all. That the two of them going at each other, that was bound for a collision. But the fact that, you have somebody going after for running over your goalie, even though it was kind of inevitable. We didn't quite have that, a little bit last year, but the team's really coming together. Brandon Carlo, who sort of, he was supposed to be a big offensive deal when the Bruins got him. Didn't quite turn out that way. He's been in quite a scoring and offensive slump. Sort of lacked physicality, but this year he's doing it. He's making great D plays, and afterwards, if there's extracurricular pushing and shoving, he's right in the middle of that. He's pushing. He doesn't care. That's good, because if you're not going to contribute in an offensive way that you're expected to, you got to contribute in other ways, and he's found a way to do that. All in all, this team is just Marchand. There's been, 3 or 4 fights so far. Marchand being one of those fights. That's crazy. 3 games in, you already have, or 5 games in, sorry. You almost have as many fights as you do games played. Which, when you think about it, speaks for it all. They're really not letting people push them around. It's, you know what, you do this, you make this hit, you taunt the bench, whatever, we're coming after you, and that's that. Look at Corrali's hit. He didn't shatter the glass like Lucic did, but, what a hit. That is hard, body-on-body contact. The player, Edmonton, he went, that's not the player, that's the team, but the Edmonton player, he went right through. Hit the glass and went right into that crowd. That was a big body-on-body contact. Achari, physical player, holds his own weight. He's doing the same thing. He's had a few nice big open ice hits that are, clean, legal. Detroit, they sort of got under his skin. He was willing to drop the gloves after the big hit, but, he got an instigator for that. That's up to you, what you think about that, but I don't agree with the instigator. He just stood his man up, and that was pretty much that. Let's talk about the Bergie line for a little bit. I think the Bergeron line, I don't know how you couldn't agree with that being the top line in the NHL. Listen to these numbers, okay? I got these numbers off the NHL app. Pastrnak, 7 goals, 2 assists for 9 points in the first 5 games. Bergeron, 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points. Marchand, 1 goal, 9 assists. They all have double-digit points in their 5 games into the season. I think that, that's all obviously only going to get better as it goes. Hopefully there's consistency. I think Pastrnak has a really good chance breaking 50 goals. If you're going to light the lamp, he has a hat trick already, If he's going to be like that, no doubt. If he stays that hot, that consistent, I think he has it in him. You got Marchand, he's been a consistent 30-goal scorer. I think he's going to do that. 5 games in, 1 goal. That's not worrisome. I think 30 will be no problem, at least. But hopefully he starts shooting the puck a little bit more. I think he's been a little kind of cute, wanting to set up plays with Pastrnak and Bergeron, which is great. I mean, he's leading assists. That's a team player. You know, you got Bergeron who's leading that line. Bergeron, 5 goals, he had a hat trick, 4th career hat trick, I believe it was. Amazing. I mean, he's a complete player. He really is. He goes up and down the ice. This whole line, Bergeron line, and they're all complete players. They go down, they contribute defensively. Bergeron, Marchand, they're penalty killers. They're power play unit guys. There's not like an aspect in the game where it's like, oh well, you can't really put these guys out. You can put them out anywhere, anytime. They're just, I mean, simply amazing if you're a Bruins fan. You love that line. They're your top guys. The goalies, this one creates a little bit of controversy. Jaroslav Halak came in, and he's lights out. He's 2-0 in 2 games he played in. I have the stats here, a 1.18 goals against average and a 96.1 save percentage. That is amazing. I mean, he's been stopping everything that comes his way. He's it. I think as a backup, he's the guy you really want. Anton Khudobin, great. He was awesome. We had him. You know, didn't sign him. I was kind of disappointed. I would have liked to see Khudobin come back, but I mean, we got Halak back, or not back, but from the deal. Getting Halak as a free agent, just absolutely amazing. I mean, the numbers produces, they show. I mean, the 96 save percentage, 1.18 goals against average. I mean, as a backup, he's a starting goaltender. Same thing with Tuukka Rask. Those are 2 starters on any team, but we got him as our starter and our backup. Which, I mean, part of a playoff run is how good your goalies perform. And having 2 starters that could perform decent, if not beyond decent, I mean spectacularly, if they stay that way, especially through a playoff run, I mean, there's no reason goaltending can't get it done for a Stanley Cup run. Tuukka Rask, 2-1. That one, I think he'd like that back. That Washington game was kind of terrible, a 7-0 loss, but I mean, they looked past it. Tuukka got 2 wins, and after that, I think he's going to get better, obviously, as time goes on. I like Tuukka Rask. I'm not somebody that says, you know, gee, he chokes all the time. Yeah, he doesn't. A lot of it has to do with defense. Breaks down. Goalie left vulnerable. It happens to all goalies. And, I mean, all they can do is try. I think Rask has done that, and his whole career is set on that Chicago game, Game 6, gives up 2 goals in the last little bit of the game. That is not him as a goaltender. That was a bad game. Bad ending to a game that you lose like that, or at the end. Could have forced a Game 7, could have had a second cup in a 3-year span. That's not him. He's way better. His numbers produce. He's a top, 7-8 goaltender. Definitely top 10. But, I mean, he's great. Didn't get off to a hot start. That seems to be a tradition with him. Beginning of the season, I don't know if it's a long break over the summer, a little rusty. But as the season goes on, he gets better. We'll have no problem with him. Right now, because of that Washington loss, his numbers for everything, 2 wins, 1 loss, 4.08 goals against average, and an 88.1 save percentage. That's all going to go up, guys. I mean, cut him some slack. Defense seems to be a little bit more solid this year, so that's only going to help with Rask in the long run. Same thing with Halak. I mean, you have defense, they seem to be quick at moving it up the ice instead of letting the other team get position in the zone. They seem pretty good. So I'm expecting the D and the goalie to work well together, and the forwards contributing. I think this is a pretty good, solid team. With that being said, competing with Toronto, Toronto's hot. They're good. They got Tavares. Are they better than the Bruins? I mean, they played 2 more games and they had those 2 extra wins. So, don't know. They are 1 goal on the goal differential plus from the Bruins. That went up after the last game. I think they're pretty close contributing. I mean, time will tell as they play. But, I mean, that's going to be a fierce competition. Tampa did not play as many games, so we can't really give them a fair shakedown. But assuming, you know, things are like last year and the teams produce the way they are so far, I think Tampa, Boston, and Toronto will be competing for your top 3 spots. Last thing to talk about, the record. Bruins 4-1, 8 points. We have a 4-game road trip coming up. We're going to play Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and then Ottawa in that order. Road trips, especially after winning 3 games straight at home, some bonding time. I think that's going to be great and only beneficial for the long run. Hopefully we can squeeze some wins out there and up the win column a little bit, get some more points, and because that always helps for the totals at the end of the year. You don't want to be chasing, you want to be ahead of everybody else point-wise, because, you know, you get further and further down, closer to the postseason, you don't want to be a team that's like, oh gee, you know, we're struggling here a little bit, we gotta win these next few games in order to make the playoffs. You want to be that team that, you know what, just keep it steady, we're in good shape, we have a playoff spot. You want to be one of those teams. I think Boston is. Time will tell, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe.